Hello friends, welcome back to part 17 of my series, where I look at the musical content of Sweeney Todd and explain how it is so brilliantly written by Sondheim. If you've been following the series, chronologically the next song to be covered is Epiphany. When scholars and others have talked about the musical brilliance of Sweeney Todd, they most often cite Epiphany, so there is already a lot written about this song in terms of its musical context, its lyrics, its numerous underlying themes, its subtext, and etc. Thusly, I really don't have any insightful observations to add. Plus, Sondheim himself explains and musically dissects his own song perfectly in this video here. So as a result, I'll be exploring the next song, A Little Priest, a duet between Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett that ends Act 1. Sondheim recalls, "I got my cue from Little Priest from a stage direction in Bond's play. The song's comic spirit is an expansion of an emotional moment in Bond in which the characters giggle at their conspiracy. The comedy grows right out of the tension. You can only be tickled only if you're tense. Hitchcock made a career out of that." We've got this song right after Epiphany. Sweeney has gone mad, bipolar, and schizophrenic. He's threatening the audience directly, screaming for vengeance, and mourning his daughter and his wife. And now we have this witty, light-hearted waltz. This is the quintessential Sondheim song. It is ironic, punny, it drives home several ideas while moving the story forward. Mrs. Lovett has an idea. She basically proposes that Sweeney can get his vengeance on Man by killing his customers. And Miss Lovett can make use of these bodies, destroy the evidence, and save money by baking them into pies. In this song, they joke on and on about different professions they have baked into these pies. The song is very straightforward in structure. There is a rather lengthy introduction till we get verses interjected with the occasional chorus. We start off with this chord, which represents the light bulb over the head. Mrs. Lovett has an idea and sings this new motif.
Well, you know me, bright ideas just pop into my head and I keep thinking. Seems a downright shame.
Shame?
This is a variation of Mrs. Lovett's Worst Pies in London,
Wait, what you rush, what you hurry?
which will morph into the snaking melody of the verse of this here song.
It's priest, have a little priest.
Mrs. Lovett introduces the idea to Sweeney while gauging his reception to the idea. Sweeney slowly seems to understand now, while Mrs. Lovett starts driving it further. The waltz picks up the pace, and once we reach the first chorus, Sweeney is in love with the idea. Then we finally get into the bulk of the verses. In a very Sondheim-esque fashion, he begins listing off professions, as Lovett and Sweeney set each other up for gags, and gradually increasing the cleverness. He was obviously very excited about this, as in his original notes, he had lists and lists of professions and the related jokes. He obviously couldn't do all of them, but included as many as he could without dragging it on too much. He also had difficulty finding one-syllable professions, such as priest or fop. I like the harmonies here.
How gratifying for once to know that those above will serve those down below.
These notes, maybe unintentionally, mirror the little response we get next. And on the word down, the melody drops down, remarkably below the range of Sweeney.
That those above will serve those down below.
That response we get seems to almost be an inverse of this thing we had in Poor Thing.
Joanna, that was the child's name, pretty little Joanna.
Go on.
Perhaps that's also coincidence, or perhaps it's to mirror how Sweeney and Lovett are caught up in this completely mad plot, similar to how Lucy was caught up in this overwhelming ball. Or it's a coincidence. Anyways, more gags and jokes happen. With each passing chorus, the waltz becomes denser and denser, filling with more dissonances, as if they are both slowly descending into madness. We hit the last chorus, which is a bit different than the rest. I like this part that we've never had before. Mrs. Lovett sings this.
Have charity towards the world, my pet.
Yes, yes, I know, my love.
We'll take
The end of the phrase, we get a tritone. As I mentioned before many times in my previous videos, this is the devil's interval. The devil, aka Sweeney Todd, aka my love. Anyways, the song ends with these amazing dissonant chords. When Sondheim initially performed the song at the auditions for his producers, it sounds like Sondheim slamming his hands on the piano. It's brilliant.
We'll not just make great. No, we'll serve anyone, meaning anyone, and to anyone at all.
I also love the speed at which Sondheim performs the song. It creates this on-edge feeling instead of a lilting waltz. Thinking of this musical thriller, which is both dramatic and horrifying, I find it interesting to end Act 1 with arguably the most witty and lighthearted song in the show. It is contrasted extremely well with its dark humor. Undoubtedly, this juxtaposition is what keeps the audience engaged and keeps this Lovett-Sweeney relationship intact. The music in this song is probably the least involved we've had thus far. It is written most like a standard song. There are very few motivic callbacks, and there's very little musical plot to advance. In the next 2 videos of the series, I'll be exploring the entirety of Act 2 of Sweeney Todd. Then the following video, part 20, I'll be wrapping up the series with a basic summary and reflection about Sweeney Todd. Thank you for watching, I hope to catch you soon.